Okay, the last topic of your inflation, that is effects of inflation. Okay. Rohan, have you completed? You can write down in the break time. Okay, just leave it now. What is the effects of inflation? Where this inflation will affect? For whom it will affect? We have studied in previous class. Just keep it there. Sir. For whom it will affect? Inflation will affect for whom? Lender and borrower. Think that. Just concentrate. You can write down afterwards. Think that in normal days, the lender is the giver. The lender will give. Think that he wanted to give 1 lakh rupees for the borrower. Borrower is asking 1 lakh for the lender. Okay. But lender is just charging round about 10% of interest rate. 10% of interest rate per month he is charging for borrower. Okay. Think that Harsha is a lender. He is giving 1 lakh for the Rohan. Okay. At the of 10% of interest rate per month. Okay. Now, once there comes the inflation, okay, after 3 months, okay, after 3 months, think that in August, Harsha has given 1 lakh rupee for the Rohan, okay, in the month of August. After 3 months, which is the month? August, September, October, November. Okay. In the month of November, think that in India, if the inflation occurs, suddenly there might be an inflation. During that time, this lender will charge more the interest rate, higher the interest rate or lower the interest rate during inflation. During inflation, will the public have more money or lesser money? Lesser money. Okay. This is the chance for the lenders. What they will do? They will increase what? They will increase what? The increase of interest rate. He might charge round about 13% of interest rate. Think that when these borrowers, so-called the public, don't have much money, what these lenders will do? These lenders will increase the interest rate. That is the best chance for them to gain money. That is what the motto of the lender will be. But now this is the high time during inflation that now Harsha will think in the month of November that is this a good interest rate for Harsha, or is that a lender it is good rate for Harsha, for Rohan? Yeah. Who is profitable and who is into loss now? Now, according to the borrower, if you think from the perspective of the borrower, is when this borrower has took the loan at the rate of 10%, is it a profitable or he should take at the interest rate of 13%? The rate of 10%, it is profitable for whom? Borrower. He has saved how much of the rupee? 3% of interest rate. That much of amount he has saved actually. Okay. This is during inflation. He got a profit. Who? The borrower got a profit. Now, during normal days, lender, what he will do? Most of the people, they will not opt to take at this higher rate. Most of the borrowers, they step back to take this much of higher rate during that time. Is it a loss for him or not? It is a loss for him, because during normal days, what has happened for it? Okay. During normal days, there are many people who will take a loan at 10% of interest rate. This is also profitable for the lender. Since he thinks in the way that this is the high time during inflation that he needs to increase the higher rate, during that time, most of the borrowers, they don't take a loan at 13% of the interest rate. As it is a huge interest rate, most of the people, they don't like to take at the higher rate. Now, who is into the loss? Who is into the loss? Lender is into the loss. Why? Because most of the people, they are not opting to take the loan at higher rate of interest rate now. Now you can ask me, why he is increasing the interest rate of 13%? Why he is increasing? He might get decrease this to 8% of interest rate also. Why he is making high rate during inflation? If there is no profit for the lender, he might give a loan at lower interest rate. Why he is making at high interest rate now? Why so? Is that question logical or not?
Because that is the time where he can get more.
Yes, he thinks his advantage that this is the high time that borrowers don't have money. Anyway, these borrowers will come towards me and they will take a loan. Okay, that is why he will increase his interest rate. If he decreases his interest rate, it is also a loss for him actually. How it is a loss means, during inflation, the value of currency, during inflation, the value of currency decreases. The value of Indian rupee decreases. It don't have much value. That is why. Okay. Is there any doubt? No doubt. Okay. During inflation, borrower will be into the profit, lender will be into the loss. Okay. During inflation, borrower will be into the profit. Why? Because he has saved that much of money, 3% of interest rate. During inflation, lender is into the loss. Why? Because most of the people, they don't like, most of these borrowers, they don't like to take at a higher interest rate. That's why it is not much profitable for the lender during that time. Why? Because compare here, this lender will think that, array, during inflation I am charging 13%, but for Rohan I have given it only at the rate of 10%. Who is into the loss now? Lender, because it is a loss of 3% for the lender. Understood? It is 3% profit for the borrower, it is 3% loss for the lender. He might think that I wouldn't have given loan in the month of August, I would have given the loan in the month of November, then I would have got the percentage of 3% of interest rate have been increased. He might think or not. Okay. He will think that I wouldn't have given this loan, I mean the 10% of interest rate in the month of August. Okay. This is a loss for the lender. Why he has given the interest rate of 10% 3 months back. Have you understood now? Is there any doubt? No doubt. Just write down in your own words. Just write down the first point. First point, lender and borrower. Put the heading, lender and borrower. Just put the colon. Put the colon. During inflation, borrowers will be into the profit. Borrowers will be into the profit and lenders will be into the loss. Will be into the loss. Just I will write it down properly. You can copy that. Just write down without inflation, put the heading, lender 1 lakh rupee for the borrower at the interest rate of 10% of interest rate with inflation. Lender, if he had given 1 lakh, the same 1 lakh, it might be at the rate of interest rate of 13% for the borrower. Profit of 3% for the borrower. Loss of 3% of IR. That's it. This is shown in the same format. Is there any doubt in this? Rohan, have you understood? This is a prelims based question for your UPSC. Most of the time they have asked in your previous year question. It is like this, from here to here, and also this. This lender will regret during inflation that without inflation I had given only at the rate of 10%. But are you understanding?
Without inflation.
See here, this is the month of November. This is the month of August. Okay. Now lender will think in the month of August that lender will think in the November, when it is a November, lender will think that, it is clear or? Okay, thank you. Lender will think in the November that in the previous 3 months back, in the month of August, I have given just the loan at the rate of 10%. It is a loss for him. Now I am charging you at 13%. But previously I have charged only at the rate of 10%.
In the month of November, it feels different.
Yes, in the month of November. That is during inflation. During inflation, he will regret. He will think that it is a huge loss for me. Understood? And during borrower, what he will think in the November? Are I am bachao. I have got only at the rate of 10%. Okay. Why he has already took a loan in the month of August itself. If he didn't take the loan in the month of August, then this lender would have charged him at the rate of 13%. Now it is a 3% profit for the borrower or not. Understood? Next point. The next one is on aggregate demand. On next point, aggregate demand. Aggregate demand means overall demand. Aggregate. The meaning of aggregate is overall. The overall demand. During inflation, the aggregate demand will increase or decrease. During inflation, the demand will increase or decrease. Decreases. How inflation occur? How inflation gets occur? Yes, when the supply is low, demand will get increase. If the demand increases, price will get increase. Increase in price is called as what? Inflation. Then during inflation, demand will get increase. That's it. Just write down this. If the supply is less, then demand increases. Automatically, price gets increased and it is called as inflation. During inflation, the overall demand or aggregate demand increases. It doesn't decrease. Aggregate means overall. Okay. Total. Next, the next point, third one, on investment. How this inflation affects the investment? How this inflation affects on investment? During inflation, will the investment will be high or it will be low? Will the businessman and entrepreneur comes forward and will they invest during that time or they will step back? Step back.
I mean, inflation, no.
Okay, let me just write down the question. Okay, analyze it for 1 minute. Okay, during inflation, the businessman, entrepreneur, will they come forward for investment or will they step back from investment? This kind of applied questions will be asked in your UPSC prelims.
They will invest now.
They will invest. Why so?
Because demand.
Yes, demand is increased. Best example is iPhone. Okay. Yesterday I have just explained the Phillips curve. In the first stage, employment generation is high. Next time, employment will get decreased. Okay. Just write down the same one. Example is regarding phone. Okay. At the starting, what it will happen? Starting the supply will be what? During the time of launching, supply will be more or it will be less? If today iPhone 16 gets launched, will the supply will be huge or will the supply will be limited? Limited. It is less, and it creates what? Demand. Because most of the people wanted to buy that phone. They are into the queue in front of showroom. And next, what it will lead to? It will lead to the increase in the price. If it is 1,25,000, obviously most of the people, they are ready to pay around about 1,40,000 also. Especially the men. They are ready to pay extra money to purchase that phone. And what it will lead to? It is called as inflation. Okay. Now the manufacturer will think that if the demand is more, if the products are selling in huge quantity, what he will think? The next step he will think to increase the supply. Why? Because he wants more profit. How he got a more profit? See here, it has been increased. The price have been increased due to the demand. That's why he will increase what? He will increase his production. In order to increase the production, what he should do? He should increase the labors. If he is manufacturing only 1,000 units of phones at the starting stage, what he will do? He wanted to produce round about 10,000 units when there is a huge demand. Why? Because he wants a lot of profit within short period of time. He don't want to just waste the time by making it in a long term as a limited edition. Why? Because other competitors will, what they will do? They will copy that features and they will launch the new phones. That is why what this iPhone manufacturer will do? As soon as possible, he will increase his supply. The other people, the other Samsung or else Nokia or other companies might launch the same kind of features, same kind of phones at the lower price of interest. That is why he will increase his supply automatically. And in order to increase the supply, what he will do? He will increase the labors. Okay, that is what called as employment. Okay, employment. What this hiring of the labors and increasing the raw materials and purchasing the new machineries, expansion of the factory, it is called as what? Investment. Understood? During inflation, what he will do, if the price have been increased to 1,40,000 rupees, he will think to increase the production. He will think to increase the mobile phones in terms of quantity. What he will do? He want investment. During that time, he will invest more money by hiring the laborers, by increasing or from buying the raw materials, from purchasing the big machineries. Understood? During inflation, investment will be high. Just write down. Just write down in your own regarding this example firstly. Write it in your own words. Then try to explain it in your own words. Economy is based on examples only. Write it in your own words. iPhone 16. The first time in launching time, the supply will less, demand increase, price increase. 1,25,000, 1,40,000, write down all those. During inflation, what is the impact on investment? Will it increase or get decrease? It will get increase.
What is the difference between Phillips curve?
What is different between Phillips curve? This is what a Phillips curve is. Phillips curve, in Phillips curve, the Phillips told that during inflation, employment rate increases. During inflation, how it was got increased? What he has done? In order to produce more number of goods, he has hired more number of laborers. That is called as employment generation. Employment have been increased. Understood? But that theory was been failed. It is not correct. In long term, again it led to what? Unemployment. Once the demand decreases, see that iPhone craze will be having only for 3 or 4 months. After that, the people don't like to buy the same series of phone. They will be waiting for purchasing the next series, or they might go for the other brand phones. Shall we go for the next point? Next one, on income. On income. How the inflation will affect on income? On income. Nominal value of income. Okay, nominal income, real income. Nominal value of income, real value of income. Just write down that much. Concentrate here. Okay. During inflation, the employees, will they ask for hike in the salary or not? Will they ask hike in the wages or not? During inflation, all the goods and services price will be so high in the market. What the employees will tell? They tell that this salary is not sufficient to run the lives, to run as a livelihood purpose. That is why they will ask the increase in the salary, and also the laborers will ask increase in the wages. Okay, but think that if an employee, this is okay, employee without inflation, with inflation, during normal days for employee, the salary might be 30K per month. Okay. With inflation, what will ask? During inflation, will he ask the increase in salary or not for the HR? He will request for increasing the hike. Okay. This might be now 35K per month. Okay. Concentrate here. Don't write. Employee, during normal days, his salary might be 30K per month. But during inflation, he got an hike and it is 35K per month. But this and this is called as a face value. Let me explain. That is a nominal value. How is so? See, without inflation, his salary is that much. And he is doing the expenditure of 20K overall per month. He might be paying rent and he's purchasing the groceries and transportation expenditure, everything that is included. And now what is his saving? 10K per month. In that 30K, he is doing the expenditure of 20K. And what is the saving? 10K per month. Now, during inflation, this expenditure, will it get increased or it will get the same? Will it be the same or it will get decreased? Expenditure increases or not? During inflation, expenditure increases. Whatever the groceries and transportation ka kharcha, everything will get increased. Okay. Sometimes the house owner will tell that we are increasing your rent also. Okay. And this might be what? 25K per month. Now the expenditure is 25K per month. And what is he saving now? It is 10K per month. Okay. See here, the face value, whatever the face, even though he got the hike in his salary, doesn't mean that he is saving or he had got the more savings. What he got? He got actually a equal savings now in both the time. With or without inflation, savings is the same itself. Understood? Okay. That is what called as during inflation, the nominal value might increase. Means this value might increase from 30K per month to 35K per month. That is nominal value. That is increasing. But the real value, what are the savings, that might be an equal or decrease also. Understood? Is there any doubt? Okay. You might think that during inflation, if you got the hike of 5K also or 10K also, ultimately what you need? You need a savings. Based on a savings only, you will get to know what is your real income. Understood? That is the real value of income. Just write down that. Just I will dictate. A rise in inflation will lead to the nominal value of income increase. In bracket, write down face value. Bracket close. And the real value of income does not rise. Just write down this example. This is nominal or face value. Face value means getting the hike. That is what called as face value or nominal value. The savings is called as real value. Write it in your own words. Finish? Next one. On savings. On savings. The next point is on savings. See, this effects of inflation is too important. If you read the Ramesh Singh book, you can't understand the effects of inflation. Okay, only with the example you will get understand. Okay, next one is on saving. Okay, this just don't write. During inflation, the consumers or the customers, they don't have much money. Okay, during inflation, the people will be not having much money. Okay, now it is the duty of the RBI to inject the money in the market. This RBI is the one who will absorb the money. This is the RBI who will increase the money supply. Either to decrease the money supply or increase the money supply in a market, that all will be made by the RBI itself. RBI will control your money indirectly or directly. Understood? Let me just give you the best example. Firstly, okay, during inflation, people will not be having much money. Okay, people will be not having much money. Okay, now what is the duty of RBI now? RBI should increase the supply of money in a market. It should inject a money in a market. Market is the consumers, the public. Here the market means the customers. Okay, the public. Here now the RBI will instruct the banks. RBI will instruct the banks in the interest rate. Okay, now deposit and loan. What is the duty of banks? What is the duty of bank? The customers can deposit the money in the bank, and that the same money, whatever they have got into deposit, that will be issued as a loans for the other customers. Some customers will deposit the money in the bank, and those who wanted the money in the form of loan, this bank will issue the loan. Okay, this is the duty of the bank. Now, during inflation, RBI will instruct the banks to reduce the interest rate on the loans and make high interest rate on deposits. Let me tell you why. Okay. RBI has instructed banks to reduce the interest rate on loans and to make high interest rate on deposit. How is? Because customers now what they need? Money. They want more money in their pocket. Now what they will do? Some of the customers who don't have money, what they will do? They will go for the bank and they will ask for loans. If the loans are at cheaper rates, they will take the loan. Reduce interest rate means cheaper loans. ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಚೀಪ್ ಲೋನ್ ತಾನೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಜನರ ಕೈಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. In order to give the money for the customers, what they will do? Some of the customers who wanted a loan, what they will do? They will go for the bank. Why? Because these banks have just put the advertisement that there is decrease in the interest rate. In normal time, think that without inflation, okay? Without inflation, just wait. Without inflation, the loans will be at 13%. With inflation, during inflation or with inflation, the loans will be at 10%. Now the customers will take the loan at the rate of 13% of interest rate or at 10% of interest rate? 10% of interest rate. Why? Because there is a difference of 3%. Okay. Customers need money. The public need money. What these banks are offering? They are offering 10% of interest rate now. And most of the customers got attracted and they are taking the loan. Now, when they took a loan, will their pocket be filled with money or not? When they take a loan, they got a money now. Now, this is regarding the loan. Okay. Think that some of the customers, they don't like to invest in other forms, in stock market or in just purchasing the cryptocurrency, or they don't want to buy a gold. Okay, think that I'm a customer. Okay. I am earning 1 lakh. Okay, 1 lakh. 1 lakh. Okay. Per month. I am earning 1 lakh per month. Now, my saving is round about 60k per month. I am doing expenditure of 40k. I am saving 60k. Now, during inflation, this bank will offer me the rate of 12% of interest rate for depositing. But during normal days, without inflation, if I go for the bank, they will be only offering me 8% of interest rate. Okay. Now, in which time I will just deposit the money? At the rate of 12% of interest rate, or at 8% of interest rate I will deposit the money? 12% of interest rate. Okay. If I get 12% of interest rate for my deposit, what I will do? I will go and I will deposit my money. Okay. Why? Because see, the bank is offering the loan at cheaper rate of interest. The banks, how they will get the money? Who will give the money for the banks? Either the customer, sometimes the RBI. Understood? Bank will not be having hundreds of crores now. The duty of the bank is to take the deposit from the customers only, and with the help of deposit only they should offer the loans. Sometimes for short period of time or for long period of time, the RBI can give a loans for the banks. That's it. Not 100% of the money will be given for the banks in order to run that. These banks will be depending on the customer's money itself, customer deposits itself. Okay. See, during inflation, bank will tell that I will pay you the 12% of interest rate. Then I will get attracted for the interest rate, whatever the loan that they are offering for, whatever the deposit interest rate they are offering for me, and I will deposit my amount there. Okay. When they give me a best interest rate for me, what I will do? Obviously, I will go for the banks on a day-to-day basis. If I get another extra money, what I will do? Again, I will go for the bank and again I will deposit enough money. Okay. I may take from you. Okay. And or else I may get from other people also. And what I will do? They are giving me the 12% of interest rate. That's why I will go frequently for the bank. And that term is called as shoe leather cost. Okay. Shoe leather cost. Shoe leather cost means shoe leather cost. Shoe leather cost. It means that the bank is paying a positive interest or high interest rate on the savings account of customers. Full stop. It means that people visit the bank frequently tagging their shoes. Full stop. Just study that shoe leather cost. What does that shoe leather cost means? This is asked in your prelims, okay, in previous year. This is the previous year question, okay. What is shoe leather cost? If the bank, just concentrate here, if the bank pays high interest rate for the customers for their savings, then what these customers will do? They will go frequently for the banks. That is what called as shoe leather cost. Okay. By wearing the shoes lot of time, I mean by visiting the most number of times, these customers will visit the banks. That's why it is called as shoe leather cost. By wearing the shoes, I mean only the rich people will wear most of the branded shoes. Shoe leather cost. Leather shoes are very much expensive. Who will wear that? Only the rich people will wear that. These rich people will deposit the money in their bank. Not the poor people will deposit the money in terms of crores or in lakhs. Okay. Have you seen the poor people, are they wearing the leather shoes? Have you seen the beggar wearing the leather shoes or what? No. Only the people who can afford the leather shoes, they will be wearing that. Have you got this point? During inflation, just write down. During inflation, the banks offers less interest rate of loans to the customer and higher interest rate on the deposits of the customer. Of the customer. Just write down this example with interest rate. RBI will instruct the bank. RBI will instruct the banks, loans, reduce interest rate, higher interest rate. Okay, just write down this 12%, 8%, and also 10%, 13%, all this in your own words. After 2 or 3 months, you will not get to understand the explanation. That's why I'm telling you to write the example of your own. Just study thoroughly. In the next week, you'll be having the seminars also. We'll give you the topics and you should explain here for 15 minutes. This will help for your personality development in an interview, and also it will just give you the stage courage. Finish. Next one is the next one. Just write down the next one regarding the tax. How the inflation will affect on tax. How this will affect on tax? Will inflation affect on tax or not? If there is high inflation, the taxes will be more or less? Taxes will be fixed percentage. That is correct. Will the government gets more tax or less tax during inflation? More tax. How? Can you give me an example? Yeah. Yes. 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 See. Just take the iPhone itself. If it is 1,25,000, what is the GST for that? What is the GST? Just check. What is the GST for phones? Is it 18 or 28%? Just check in your mobile phones. Eighteen percentage. Now do the calculation. For 1,25,000, if it is 18 percentage, then what is the tax? If the cost of the iPhone is 1,25,000, if it is 18 percentage, then what is the tax that person has paid? See, just concentrate here. Don't do the calculation. This is excluding of GST. Take excluding. Okay, this is also excluding. Now include this for 18%, include this for 18%. Just tell me. Either include or either exclude. Just tell me the answer. Put it in the chat GPT. You'll get that. $22,000.
Total is 1,47,500.
1 lakh.
For 1,25,000.
Okay. It is
It will be 1,47,500.
40,000, 47,500. Okay, here. One lakh 47,500 minus 1,25,000. What is the answer? $22,000 as a GST. Here. Here it is 25,200. Then plus that 1,65,200. Okay, just concentrate here. Without inflation, the cost was this much. Okay, even though they didn't change the percentage of the GST, the percentage of the GST is same 18. But what it led to? Increase in the price of phones or not? Here, without inflation, the price you would have purchased at this much of amount. With inflation, now you should pay it for 1,65,200. Okay, see here, as at the manufacturing side, if they increase the amount, at the manufacturing side only, if they increase the amount, this is fixed, this is fixed. If this increases, automatically consumers price also get increased. If manufacturing side that they increase the price, automatically customer side also increase the price. See here, if they didn't change the tax slab also, what it will lead to? It will increase the price. How much of the tax difference have you getting here? Around about 3,000 rupees. The higher the inflation, higher the rate of phones, higher the taxes you should pay. Now have you got the point? With only 1,25,000, along with the same percent GST, would have brought it at this percentage of iPhone. After 6 months, think that the phone will be getting cost of this much. Then you should automatically pay what? 25,000 along with the GST. You should pay this much. Understood? The higher the price, the higher the taxes. Is there any doubt? Rohan, are you getting confusion? No. Now, if
Actually, it is actual price number. How can we say that inflation is taking place over?
see here, they didn't change the GST slab here. For mobile phone, they have kept only 18%. Okay. Think that. Okay. Now, the car, okay, just take the Activa itself, Activa scooty. Okay. Activa 6G. Okay. It was just costed round about 95,000 rupees 3 years back. It is on road price. Now the same Activa 6G, it is having the cost of 1,20,000. Why so? the GST is same. Think it is 28%. Here also it is inclusion of 28% only. Because of inflation, raw material price have been increased, labor cost have been, labor wages have been increased. Have you understood that? Input side only they have increased. I mean the manufacturer side itself they have increased the price. Understood? Is there any doubt? If you feel that you are paying only the equal amount, no, you are not paying the equal tax here. You are actually not paying equal tax. If you think that it is 28, here also 28, no, it is not. 28% for 95,000, it is 28%. For 1,20,000, for 1,20,000, it is 28%. Have you got this? Some of the normal people, they will think that, array, we are paying the same GST only. No. Manufacturing side only, they have increased the price because of inflation. Because of raw material, cost of production might be high. Understood? Is there any doubt? No doubt. During inflation, the tax will be increased. But is this a good idea to increase the taxes that kind? I mean, see here, during inflation, the government will get the high taxes, as you have seen. Here it was 22,000. Okay. 25,000 right here. Here, this is 22,500 for this much amount. This is 25,200 as a GST you are paying. During inflation, if the government gets higher tax, for government it will get benefit, but for the customers, what is this? Huge burden. Are you understanding? For customers, it is huge burden. Why? Because 3,000 rupees the customer are into the loss. But the government might get the higher taxes. At the long term, the government will also come into the loss. Why? Because if you don't purchase the goods, if you don't purchase the bike or if you don't purchase any vehicles, government can't get any taxes. What you will do? You will not spend more money by purchasing the goods and services. What you will do? You will invest that money. You will just keep that money as it is. Either you will just deposit in a bank or you will just deposit that money in different form. But you will not purchase more number of goods. If you don't purchase more number of goods, government will not get the taxes in the form of GST, goods tax. Have you understood? Government should balance everything here. Government can't increase the taxes during inflation also. If the people are having the money, then they can pay the taxes for the government. If the people are not having the money, how can government collect the taxes then? If you don't purchase any kinds of goods, if you don't get any kinds of services. Understood? Okay. Next one. Next is on export and import. Next, just write down on export and import. During inflation, export will increase or export will decrease? It will decrease. Why so? Okay. Okay. During inflation, okay, the producers, during inflation, the producers in India, will they sell more in a domestic market or they will go for the abroad to sell their produces? Just I will put the map of India. We get to know. See, during inflation, the cost of goods and services, what it will be? It will be high. Price of goods and services will be high during inflation. Means whatever the goods they are selling in a market, the price is more. People are not buying the goods here. When the people are not buying the goods, what the producers will do? Automatically they will do the export. Understood? When during inflation, the customers or the people will be not having much money. When the customers are not having much money, they don't go for the market and they will not purchase the goods. Understood? Okay. Think that there is a farmer who sells mangoes in a market, in a domestic market during summer. Okay. Since there is an inflation in India during the month of April, okay, people don't have much money. When the people don't having much money, they will not purchase mangoes. Since it is a perishable goods, what the farmer will do? Automatically he will go for export.
When the importer country is available, cheaper country will import.
See here, that is what the question is. USA. Think this is an USA. Okay, USA. Okay. Our farmer, okay, and USA farmer. Okay. If 1 kg of mangoes is sold at $2 over there. Think that, hypothetically think that. If 1 kg of mangoes is sold at $2 from the USA farmer over in this USA market, our farmer, will he sell at more price or will he sell at reduced price? I mean, he will reduce the price in USA market. Why? Because if this our Indian farmer sells in the USA at $3 per kg, people will they buy this at this price? No, automatically what he will do? Our Indian farmer will compare the price of the USA farmer and he will decrease that price.
But you can do it in our country.
See, he can do in our country. See, for $1 it is 164 totally, 164 per. Most of the people, okay, most of the people, they don't, if the people are not having much money, how can, this is also a huge money for the people, for middle class people, for poor people. Only the rich people will purchase in India. Most of the majority of the people are what? The poor people and the middle class people. Is it a price for the middle class and for poor people? No, this is not a. This is a high price for them. Understood? Automatically, you will sell it in foreign, in abroad. Do you have any doubt in this? Okay. During inflation, if the people don't have much money to purchase the goods in India, what our producers will do? Our producers will start to export. Understood? Is there any doubt? No doubt. See, in your think that in your locality there is a vegetable vendor. Okay. If none of the people are taking the vegetables in their own locality, then what he will do? He will sell in the different localities. in order to run his livelihood. The same way, if the people are not purchasing here due to inflation, if people don't have a money, what this person will do? Producer, he will export his goods. Have you understood? By exporting the goods, what our farmer will get? He will get the currency in the form of US dollar. Understood? When our Indian farmer sells the mangoes in the USA, what currency he will get? He will get the dollars. Okay. When he brings back that dollars to India, will our forex reserve increase or not? Forex means foreign exchange reserve. Means foreign currencies. Our foreign currency will increase. That is a good for us. Understood? When there is a forex reserve, what we can do? This forex reserve will be utilized for importing the other goods. We can't import the other goods in terms of Indian currency. No, none of the countries will like to take or to do the trading in Indian currency. Only the hard currency is available, and that in that hard currency only they will do the transaction. Only in US dollars they will do the trading. Only in euros, European euros, British pound sterling, Japanese yen, Chinese renminbi. Okay, these are some of the top 5 currencies. In that only throughout the world they will do the trading. Understood? People, the other foreign countries, even the neighboring countries don't like to do the trading in Indian rupees. Some of the countries, they just tell the Gulf countries, if you go for the Gulf countries, they wanted US dollars itself. Understood? That is why, in order to increase this foreign exchange reserve, this treasure, what we should make? We should support for our producers to export the goods. Understood? Once all the producers start to export the goods for other foreign nation, we will get the hard currency and our treasure, the forex reserve will get increased. If the forex reserve increases, what we can do? We can buy, we can import the crude oil, we can import the steel, we can import the coal, we can import the necessary goods for us, the day-to-day basis. Understand? Is there any doubt? Okay, just write down on export. Okay, with inflation, comma, the export increases because in the domestic market, there is no competition. In the domestic market, there is no competition. Full stop. Full stop. Next is on import. How inflation will affect on import? Just tell me. During inflation, the import of goods increases or decreases? During inflation, the import of goods Import increases. Why so?
Because the cheaper companies.
Okay. Okay. If any of the other countries offers the goods at lesser price, automatically we will import. If the cost of that goods is too high from any other nation, we will not purchase those goods. Okay. Especially the basic goods like oil, okay, that is crude oil, the petroleum, and also the drugs. Drugs means the medications. Okay. And also the oil, the drugs, and also technology. Okay. These are important and we don't get compromised if that price increases or decreases. These are very basic for us. Okay. During inflation also we will buy the oil. We will purchase the crude oil. Why? Because for day-to-day transportation, we need the petrol, we need the diesel. That is why our India, it can't restrict totally of buying the oil or technology or else the drugs here. These are very basic. Okay. Excluding this, the other for other goods, if the price is less, we can import more number of goods. Okay. During inflation, the import of goods will be higher only if foreign goods is cheaper. Full stop. Next point on employment and unemployment. Next point. Yesterday we have already discussed that on employment on employment. Tell me, during inflation, the employment will be increased only at short term, but in the long term, again it leads to the unemployment, increase in the unemployment. Increase in the unemployment. Next point on economic growth. On economic growth. Just take a break. You can continue. Okay. Next is economic growth. How it will affect on economic growth? How it will affect on economic growth? Will inflation increase the economic growth, or it will just decrease the economic growth? Or whether it will just increase the nominal GDP or it will increase the real GDP? You know nominal GDP and real GDP. Okay. How it will impact on nominal and real GDP? Inflation will reduce economic growth. Okay. Then what is GDP deflator? What is the formula of GDP deflator? Formula of GDP deflator is, just check in a PDF. Okay, let me send the PDF for the Rohan. Wait.
Nominal GDP by
Yes, nominal GDP by nominal GDP by real GDP into 100. Yes, this is the GDP deflator. Okay. See here, during inflation, okay, the price of goods increases. As the price of goods increases, the GDP also increases. If the price of goods increases, automatically GDP also get increased. That is called as economic growth. Okay.
purchasing power is not different.
Yes. See here, but it will impact on either of them. Okay. You should know on which one it will impact. What is nominal GDP?
Correct.
Yes. This is a current year's inflation. Okay. Based on the current year's GDP, it will be calculated. Real GDP means it is based on, we will just compare it for the base year. Okay. Just think that base year, in base year 2011 and 12, in base year, sorry, 2011 and 12, the growth rate was 4.8%. Think that. 2024-25, if the growth rate is 6.8%, this is called as real growth according to the base year. Okay. According to the what is the real GDP? If you compare it with the base year, that is called as real GDP. This is actually a real growth or not, from 4.8 to 6.8%. It is good economic growth. But in nominal GDP, what is the graph? This is 2023, 2024. If the growth is okay, 5%, the growth is 5% here, but in the next year, without, if there is no inflation, without inflation, if the growth has been 6.8, then it is good. If the inflation occurred and it becomes 6.8, this is not called as good growth. Here, without inflation, the growth is 5%. In this year, 2024-2025, if it is with the inflation it is 6.8, and without inflation, or if you remove the inflation, if it is 4.5, is it called as growth? No. With inflation, the economic growth is 6.8. If you remove the inflation, if you subtract the inflation, if it is 4.5% only, then compare here. Is it called as economic growth? If the economic growth is good or not? No. It is 0.5% lesser than the previous year. Understood? Is there any doubt? With higher inflation, higher economic growth might happen, but that is not called as a real economic growth. Without inflation, if the economic growth happens, it is called as exactly the correct and wealthy economic growth. See, this is why we will use GDP deflator. Okay, GDP deflator will help us to understand the economic growth. Understood? GDP deflator, this formula will help us to know the economic growth. Is there any doubt? Have you understood all the topics? Just go to the recording classes also. I will just make it public. Okay. Just go through all the PDFs, whichever we send. Okay. In economy, they will ask applied questions itself. They will not ask much factual kind of questions. Only conceptual kind of questions and applied questions they will ask you. During inflation, whether the economic growth will increase or decrease, or on savings, what it will be. Whatever you have written on creditors, on borrowers, and also on investment, on savings, on banks, all that kind of questions they will ask you. 1 or 2 fixed question from inflation chapter. Every year, you just go through the UPSC prelims paper or go towards this all PYQs of this IB exam, at least 1 or 2 questions fixed from economy. Understood? Only the first priority, first weightage should be given for inflation chapter. Next banking, next security market, next tax structure, next budget chapter. Okay, fixed and compulsory question from these chapters. Understood? Is there any doubt from this inflation chapter? Inflation chapter has been over. Okay, I've covered all the inflation. What is inflation? See, firstly, I have covered the definition of inflation, and opposite of inflation is deflation and disinflation. Next is type of inflation, that is creeping inflation, walking inflation, galloping inflation, hyperinflation, and also next reflation, stagflation I have covered, and then Phillips curve I have covered. Next inflation targeting I have covered. Next indices, that is how to measure the inflation. Inflation is measured with the help of three types. One is WPI, CPI, and GDP deflator. Inflation is measured only in these indices. How inflation occurs? Cost push inflation and demand pull inflation. That one. And also lastly is effects on inflation. How inflation gets affected. That will lead to what? Okay, these are the types I have covered. This is regarding the inflation. Is there any doubt? No doubts. It is more than sufficient for your IB. Whatever I have taught for your economy till now, it is more sufficient. Is there any doubts till now? No doubts? What? Recorded classes I will just make public and I will just send that playlist. Don't worry. Next, let us start with the banking chapter. The next is banking, very important. Okay, what is bank? What is the function of bank? What is bank? A bank accepts deposits and lends loans and provides payments, remittance services and creates credit. What is credit? Credit means debit and credit. Have you heard? What is credit? Okay. Here, the credit means having the money. Debit means you lose the money. Okay. And what is the function of bank? What it will do? Here, one of the bank have been established. What the bank will do is, it will just take the deposits from the customers. Some of the customers will deposit your money in a bank. And now, bank, what the bank will do? It will issue the loans for the customers, other customers. Whoever wanted a loan, it will issue the loans for them. Okay. Think that this loan have been issued at the rate of 11%. This loan have been issued at the rate of 11%. Will the deposit interest rate will be lesser or higher? Think that I wanted a loan, okay, of 5 lakh rupee. I wanted a loan of 5 lakh rupee for my vehicle loan. They have issued my loan at 11%. For 11%, they have issued the loan for me. Think that another customer, he came to the bank and he is depositing his, think that 10 lakh rupee. If X person has come for depositing 10 lakh rupee for the bank, what the bank will provide and at which rate the bank will provide this interest rate? Will it pay more than 11% or will it offer the interest rate at lesser price? Lesser. Think that it might be at 8% or 7%. If the bank offers a deposit if a bank offers the interest rate of 8% for his deposit, what they will do? In that amount, in that 10 lakh, 5 lakh will be issued as a loan for the other customer. Understood? In that 10 lakh only, they will provide, they will just give a loan for the other customer. That's it. And here at least there will be difference of 4 to 5% of interest rate. Okay? If it is 8%, it might be 11 or 12%. And rest 4 to 5%, that amount will be given as a salary for employees. And what else? Where they will utilize this one? The difference amount is utilized as a salary for employees, then infrastructure or not, then miscellaneous, electricity, paying the electricity bill, that all will be included in this amount only. Government don't give any kinds of money for the banks here. Okay? RBI will give loans for the banks. Understood? Government will not give any kind of money for the banks. Is there any doubt? No. Banks are regulated by the RBI. RBI is under the control of government. Understood? If the bank goes bankruptcy, then the government will not give any kind of money. Understood? Think that you have deposited 50 lakh rupee in SBI. If the SBI goes bankruptcy, bank insolvency, then you will not get directly the money from the government at all. You will get the money up to 5 lakh rupee only for your 50 lakh. The maximum of only 5 lakh rupee you will be getting. That too, you have invested that money in a nationalized bank. Okay, all that comes under IB-ACIO or something. Okay, if you just deposit the money in the NBFC, non-banks, then you will not get even single penny. Or whichever the banks that is regulated by the RBI, that is got license from the RBI, in that banks only it is safe to do the deposit. Understood? Is there any doubt? No doubt. Have you understood this point? Okay. Next, mobilization. Just see here. Banks mobilize funds through two types of bank deposit or bank account. When you go for the bank, they will ask you whether you want a saving account or current account. What is saving account? What is current account? Okay, current account is for business purpose. Okay, day-to-day transaction के लिए you just have the current account. Saving account means generally whatever if you are having the deposit, will deposit in that saving account. For saving account, you will be getting the interest rate from the bank. But for current account, you will not get any single penny for current account. If you keep crores or lakhs of amount also, if any of the money is deposited in your current account, you will not get any kind of interest from the bank. If you are deposited even some few money also in the saving account, you will get interest for that from the bank. Have you understood the difference? Okay. See here, we are having two types. One is demand deposit and time deposit. Okay, the demand deposit are mobilized through savings and current accounts from which deposit holders can withdraw money at will and while deposits earn interest on the former. Means for saving account, you will be getting the interest, you will earn the interest from the bank. But for the current account, you will not get any kinds of interest. Former means saving here, latter means current here. Okay. Former andre munchiddu. The previous one yavudu ide word saving ide. Latter andre Next one, the next word is current one. That's it. You are having in demand deposit only. Just concentrate here. In demand deposit, you are having two types of accounts. In demand deposit, you are having two types of account. One is saving account, one is current account. For saving account, you will earn the interest. For current account, you will not earn any kind of interest. Then comes the term or time deposit. The term or time deposit means fixed deposit. Okay, fixed account. Some people will be going for the bank and they will tell that I am having 10 lakh rupee. Okay, just you make it double after few years. Okay, if I am having 10 lakh rupee, the manager will tell me that, okay madam, the fixed account is available for you. Okay, after 7 years, your amount will be doubled. That is called as fixed or term deposit. Understood? During that specific time, you can't withdraw that money. Whatever you have kept, that 10 lakh rupee. Okay, only in case of emergency, sometimes they might give you your money back, but they will decrease your interest rate. By reducing your interest rate, whatever they have given, okay, they will again give back your principal amount. Is there any doubt? Okay, one is demand deposit, another one is time or term deposit. In demand deposit, you are having two types. Is there any doubt here? No doubts. Next is lending. Okay, banks will give the loans. Either the loan of two types. One is secured loan, another one is unsecured loan. Okay, the banks will issue the secured loans, but those are risk free. These secured loans are risk free. For whom? For banks. How? What they will take? They will take the collateral from the customers. Okay, think that you are a customer, you wanted 1 crore rupees. When you go for the bank, and the bank manager will ask you what is the collateral you will pledge against that 1 crore rupee. You might keep the collateral as your home or your agriculture land or any kind of plot also. Understood? That is risk free for them. If you don't pay that money back also, they can sell your collateral. They can sell your property, whatever you have pledged. Understood? Through the auction, they will sell. Is there any doubt? This is risk free for the banks. But the unsecured loans are riskier for them. These are partially backed by collaterals and the amount of loan is higher than the value of collateral. These unsecured loans, especially for the business people. Think that any of the business person wanted a loan of 1000 crore rupee. He should also give the collateral. He should also give the collateral. But collateral property might be only 700 or 800 crores only. Okay, think that. If any of the ex-businessmen, any of the ex-person wanted a loan of 1000 crore rupees, but his property, his collateral at the market price, it might be only 700 crore rupees. 700 crore rupees. Understood? One of the ex-person, he will go for the bank and he will tell that I need a loan of 1000 crore rupee for my business, for my industry. But he will do the collateral, but the chief manager or the manager will agree for issuing the loan for him. But they will tell him to bring the collateral as a property. Okay, any of the property, he should keep it as a collateral. But that property costs only 700 to 800 crores only in the market. Now, what is the difference? 300 crores. 300 crores is the difference or not? Okay. His property is just 700 or 800 crores, but he need 1000 crores. Sometimes the manager, the chief manager will agree for that to pay them the loan. Sorry, to issue the loans for them. Sometimes, not every banks, some of the banks, based on their business, if they are satisfied by the idea of this business person, then they will issue the extra loan also. Understood? That is what this is riskier for the banks. These unsecured loans riskier for the banks. Why? Because if that business goes into the loss, if that factory goes into the loss, then this amount is huge loss for the banks. Sometimes all this 1000 crores also, if this market price have been decreased, okay, if the property of that, whatever the property he pledges, if that goes decrease, then it is a huge loss again for the bank itself. Then bank who has given, from whose money they have given as a loans for this businessman? From the depositors itself, who have deposited 1 lakh or 50,000 rupees or 1 crore, 5 crore, that all money have been given as a loan for this single person. If that bank goes into the loss, then all the depositors will be into the loss also. Understood? Have you seen that kind of incidents or not? In news channel? Okay. Yes. There are many web series, many movies also regarding that. At least once in the 6 months, one of the bank will go bankruptcy in India.
Then what about the deposit?
Depositors, that is what I am telling. Recently, Government of India, the Prime Minister Modi have brought that the depositors can only get the money up to 5 lakh only. Even though if you have deposited 5 crore or 10 crore, even 50 lakh, even 10 lakh also, you will get the maximum of only 5 lakh only. If your bank goes bankruptcy, if your bank goes insolvency. Understood? Is there any doubt? Firstly, it was only 1 lakh. Then the government of India, the BJP have increased that money. Okay. That money, but if you invested that money in a non-banks, then you will not get any single penny. Understood? It is secure, it is safe to deposit your money in nationalized banks, recognized banks. It is very riskier to deposit in NBFC banks. Let me just explain you what is NBFC also. Okay. See, firstly, that branch will go bankruptcy. If that branch, not only that branch, if that totally that headquarters, thousands of crores, if it goes bankruptcy, then the branches will also go under bankruptcy, the other branches also. Okay. If it is, see, the SBI is having a turnover of thousand of crore rupees. Okay. If it is grows bankruptcy, then all the customers of SBI will go under bankruptcy. See, if it is just in crore, okay, only in few crore or in just on 10 crore or 100 crore, they can manage that. By taking the profit, they will give for the depositors. But if that headquarters in thousands of crores, if it goes into a loss, then all the depositors will go into the loss itself. Understood? Okay. Punjab Nationalized Bank and SBI Bank, those people had given thousands of crores for the Vijay Mallya. Okay. And those banks have already acquired the collaterals of them. But these banks didn't wish to sell that in an auction at that time. Okay. They waited for few days or few years of time again to get back their loans. Understood? Because see here, if that whatever the property he has pledged, if it was in appreciation, these banks would have been sold at that moment itself. Since whatever he has pledged as the airlines and everything, that is depreciation. Is airlines a depreciation or not? The aeroplanes are depreciation. Vehicle, that is a vehicle, that is a depreciation part. Understood? That is why it has waited. And there is one of the government body, okay, under that they will just sell that properties and they will take their commission and they will pay all the bank loans and everything, whatever that auction amount they get. Okay, let me tell that tomorrow. Okay. Okay. This. Which are the banks? SBI Bank is there, HDFC is there. SBI Bank is nationalized banks, government bank. Okay. It is a nationalized bank. The ownership is under the hands of Government of India. HDFC, ICICI Bank, Bank of Baroda are scheduled commercial banks. These are private banks. Okay. What is NBFC? What is full form of NBFC? Non-banking financial company. Okay. Non-banking financial company. Here, this NBFC banks will also provide loans, will also provide finances, okay, like a bank, but does not have full banking license. These will not be having full licenses, but cannot offer demand deposits. What is demand deposit? Saving account, current account. Saving and current account, that one will not be found in NBFC banks. Only the time deposit amount, that is fixed amount, that is available here. But saving account and also demand account, sorry, the current account is not available here. And also it cannot issue checks, as the SBI can issue the check leaves for you. Okay, the other banks will provide you the check leaves, right? But these NBFC banks will not provide any kind of checks, check leaves. Understood? The next is, these are regulated by the RBI also. NBFC are also regulated by the RBI, but they don't have full licenses. Understood? But compared to these banks and NBFC bank, these NBFC bank will provide high interest rate for deposits for people. Think that SBI will pay only 5% or 6% as an interest rate for deposit. These NBFC bank will pay around about 10%, 12% for the deposits. Most of the people, they will get attracted for this kind of NBFC and they will deposit here. When these NBFC gives a loan for businessmen or entrepreneur, when those people go into the loss, NBFC will go into loss, and whoever have deposited the money there, they will also go into the loss. Understood now? Most of the people, even it is very riskier to deposit the money in this kind of NBFC, they will take the risk because of the higher interest rate. SBI will only give 5.5 or 6.5% as an interest rate for your deposit. But these NBFC will give around about 10%, 11, 12% for your deposit. Obviously, what you will do? You think that even though it is riskier, I will just deposit my amount in NBFC. But if you are having that bad luck, bad faith, if NBFC goes into the loss, you will be also going into the loss. Not even a single rupees you will be getting for NBFC deposit. But these kinds of banks, at least you will get 5 lakh rupee. Whatever you have deposited, the maximum of only 5 lakh rupee you will be getting. Okay, let us see. Non-banks which have regulators other than RBI. Okay, RBI will regulate what? All the banks. But these NBFCs are of different types. Let us see each other. Okay. Venture capital funds, merchant banks, stock broking firms. These are registered and regulated by the SEBI. SEBI, what is the full form of SEBI? Security Exchange Board of India. Whatever the share market, the security market, that is controlled or regulated by the SEBI itself. SEBI is an organization, okay, that will regulate all your stock market. Next one, insurance company are regulated by IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. All your LIC, GIC, all the kinds of insurance company will work under this IRDA. Okay. Next, housing finance companies, that is regulated by the NHB, that is National Housing Bank. If you wanted a house loan from bank, okay, if you wanted a house loan from the bank, okay, let just write, okay. See, think that you want a house loan. What you will do? You will go for the bank. In bank, they will give the house loan for you. Okay. For the bank, who will give the loan? This NHB. NHB specifically, it provide a loan for housing loan for the bank. From the bank, the customers can take as a house loan. Agriculture loan is there. Okay. MSME, for industries there is another organization, another bank. Okay. These kinds of big organizations will provide a loans actually. Okay. In banks there are different types of loans: vehicle loans, house loans, agriculture loans, personal loans. Okay. But if you want to take the house loan, you will go for the bank. But for the bank, who will just pay the money? National Housing Bank. Okay. Next, Nidhi companies. Okay. Nidhi companies registered, regulated by the Minister of Corporate Affairs under Companies Act 1956. Next, chit fund. Have you heard chit fund? Shriram chit fund. Have you heard? Okay. There are different types of chit fund companies. Okay. These chit funds are also regulated by the